So welcome back to using the television show McHale's Navy to show you war hoaxing. Now this particular episode is called Stars Over Taratupa, and it was broadcast on television March the 10th, 1964. So in U.S. fake history, John F. Kennedy supposedly was assassinated by a bullet in Dallas, Texas in November of '63. And you have Lyndon Baines Johnson serving as President of the United States, who really is John Wayne, the actor. So this particular episode is probably one of the most revealing, and I highly recommend to you that you watch this episode. You can find it, I'm sure, on YouTube. Stars Over Taratupa. So it begins with the crew of McHale's Navy being assigned something that's seemingly irrelevant to them, in that they're to construct a airfield in the middle of the jungle. Now this is rather lighthearted stuff. Fuji's kind of mad at them because they're out partying all the time, and he's not in on it. But the main point here in the opening is that they are to go off on some goofy assignment. There's the phone call getting the goofy assignment to construct an airfield in the middle of the jungle. Now, the reason for that is Captain Binghamton knows that a movie director is coming to make a documentary about PT boats. So he's practicing his speeches, and he knows that he wants to be the star of the film. Now this is all about film versus reality. I had a YouTube channel, I called it Real, R-E-A-L, or Real, R-E-E-L. Now I had to dispense with some of my YouTube channels because it was a little too overwhelming for me. I had several at the time, and it was just so overwhelming that I decided to cut back. But anyhow, that could be the title of this video, Real, R-E-A-L, or Real, R-E-E-L. Now that's the movie director, John Burton. He's not an actual director, but in the film his name is Burton. Now there's a tremendous relationship between film directors and hoaxing, and in particular war hoaxing. One of the greatest examples of that is D.W. Griffith, the silent movie film director. Actually will play the part of President Woodrow Wilson. So if you don't believe that, you can go on my channels and just type in D.W. Griffith or Woodrow Wilson. In particular, go to my channel called Who is Who in Hoaxology. Now, Captain Binghamton wants to be in the film, and the competition is between Binghamton and McHale as to who's going to be in the film. So he already won the film director's heart by faking an air raid. You saw that there as I was talking. So now he wakes him up very early in the morning to go out and go filming. So this is really the essence of war. In particular for you, because the only way that you get to see film or get to see war is via film. Now Fuji, who's their PW, wants to be in the movie so terribly bad, and that's going to make a pretty big twist on this here in a little bit. So they're pretending that they're going off on a mission, and they're not pleasing the director, and he's just cutting the thing over and over and over again. And now here he'll actually get a machine gun and shoot real bullets and say, I want this to look real. The director of the film, Mr. Burton, he tells Parker he just ruined the film because he stood up. Now there's supposedly in the episode here an actual Japanese Zero plane coming above, and McHale's Navy, McHale and his crew are actually in the film shooting it down. It's not fake in the particular episode you're watching. Of course, Captain Binghamton thinks it's fake, but it's actually supposedly real. So once again, there's your dilemma: real, R-E-A-L, or real, R-E-E-L. Now, of course, the director is excited because the film was excellent. There was actually a Nip Zero being shot down. Now, they're all happy. They're ready to be done with it. And here comes the real curveball. Fuji, the Japanese PW prisoner, put on American uniform and got front and center in the camera. Now they're worried if that film is shown, it's going to cause problems, and Fuji will be taken to a true PW camp, and they'll all be in prison as well for hosting Fuji. So they want to try to edit the film, and of course Parker, Tim Conway, goofs it up, and all the film goes into a vat of acid. So they decide they have to shoot a substitute film. Now this is the humorous part. They're showing the film that they substituted, and it's a nightmare for Burton because it's all a bunch of nonsense, gibberish. And of course Burton is beside himself now, the director, and they're showing you the comedy of what is presented as war. And there's one part here where they show this Nip Zero plane is just an actual little plane, a prop, being shot down. There it is. He holds it up in the bathtub proudly. And of course, the way this thing ends is that the Admiral is impressed with it because it's humor, and it's not just the serious, quote, war stuff, but it's just humor, and the Admiral is just absolutely thrilled. Now, of course, they're going to get a commendation for this, and here comes Fuji, their PW, who wants to be recognized as the newest film director. So, I have tried to show to you that there's an integration between just filming and what you think is actual war. Now, you can type different things in on my search box. I have so many videos out there, I forget exactly all that I have, and I just kind of ramble a little bit now. I think I'm entitled to do a little bit of rambling. I'm age 70, so you have to realize something, that film is the only contact that people have with war, except if you're actually in the military. And it's the substitution of the real, R-E-E-L, for the real, R-E-A-L. And you have movie stars playing the roles of leading generals and so forth. So for example, you have Clark Gable will play the role of Eisenhower. And Eisenhower, of course, later becomes president. But it's really just Clark Gable. And of course you have John Wayne, who becomes LBJ. Now I'm suspicious of John Kennedy. I think I found him, but I'm not sure. But anyhow, it's about film. And if you go back to something like Iwo Jima, before supposedly the Japanese took the island, they told all the inhabitants, there weren't that many, to get off the island. Why? Because they're going to have a big film production there, and they don't want anybody to witness the fact that it's just a bunch of filming. And incidentally, why would you put 20,000 Japanese soldiers on a rock somewhere out in nowhere? And you see, a lot of things make much more sense if you realize that mostly it was about filming. They told these people, get off the island. Why? Because they're coming with their cameras and so forth. They're set up. Now, the films are passed off as reality. And that's the essence of a lot of hoaxing. So I'd like to say thank you for watching, and I appreciate you listening in on me rambling here.